So yesterday we talked about how many impressions it took to get you 1 click. And remember, my goal is 1 in 1,000. But that's only one of my goals that I have. I mean, I know Elena has been talking about her goals as well. And we have lots of goals. We're going to be talking about how to figure out what clicks to purchases is. And we talked about clicks to impressions. Yay, woohoo! Now we're talking about clicks to purchases. This is a very ambiguous thing to try to figure out because you honestly cannot know for absolute certain what your ads are bringing in, what your ranking's bringing in, and whatever. Okay, so I can say that with my calculations that I have here, this is a rough estimate. Okay, and it's actually very, very good way to judge if my ROI is coming in or not. However, that doesn't mean that it's 100% accurate because our AMS ads, when they make sales, they also increase our ranking, which helps with more sales and so on and so forth. Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to tell you that what I do is I track by series. So remember, I only do ads for book 1 and box sets. So I've taken my box set out of this equation, and for this series, I've actually taken it off of my reader links box right here so that I could show you what I'm talking about with just these, because I know that the ads that have to do with just book 1, which is right here, so just this book 1, I know that I will be able to show you more accurately instead of, oh, look, there's a box set overflow. Okay, so let's get into this. So last year, this is how we first figure out our book average, okay, what our sales monthly are for an average, okay? Because what you're going to do is you're going to be subtracting that average from your month total to see if you improved or not on your sales. So here's what we're doing. Here we go. Last year, not last month, not last week, last year, so all of 2017, this series, the Into the End series by B.R. Paulson, made me $325.63. That's it. This series has been out. It's a complete series. It has been out since 2013, I believe, so it's been out a while. There's been no new covers, no nothing. I did fix their landing page early of this year, but other than that, this series has been pretty steady. Nothing has been happening. It's been pretty stagnant, as you can see. Only $325 in the whole year last year. I'm going to scroll down. You can see where I was in KU the first part of the year, and then I went wide. And then I went back into KU. So you can see how my sales just totally dropped. Okay, so now let's remember that number, $325.63. Now let's go into this year, which again is only 6 months. We're going to take that into consideration. So this year, on those 3 books, I made $1,215.86. The covers are the same. The blurbs I did update, but that's all that I've done. You can see where my AMS ads have started really kicking in. This right here is where we're going to be talking about. These numbers right in here. Okay, here we go. So we have 208 ebooks. We have or whatever this number is. I'm not going to math it that hard this morning. Okay, so we're going to look at this number first. And each of my books have about 325 pages in them. So we're going to say this divided by 325. Okay, so that is 594. So we're going to look at, I'm going to write down this year's numbers, and then we're going to talk about last year's numbers, and then I'm going to show you how to find the average. So we'll say that that's 595 plus the 208, 803. We'll say 803. Okay, so we'll say that I've sold 803 books this year. Now let's go into last year's, and we're going to do the same thing with the math. Again, page numbers, nothing's changed. So that one was, we'll say 91 and 80. So 171. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to average this number out. This is last year's total of books sold, okay, in all of last year. And so since there are 12 months in a year, and this is what I want to base my average on, we're going to divide this by 12. That was the total books sold last year divided by 12. So we're going to round that up to 15. So 15 books sold per month last year based on our average. Now we're going to go up and we're going to look at this year, like we just talked about. Okay, in our average, so we have 803. Now we aren't completely through 2018, so we're just going to divide it by the amount of months that we've been through, which is going to be 6. So my average book sales per month this year for this same series is 134. Now here's what we're going to do. What I do is I have to take the average out of this to tell me if I've increased or not. If my average is smaller than this number, then I've increased. If my average is above, then I've actually sank in sales. So I can subtract my average from last year, which was 15, from this year, makes it 100, we'll say that's 119. So I'm actually selling 119 books more a month than I was last year. And all the difference is, again, is just my AMS ads. So I know that they're doing something. A nice, easy way, instead of doing all that math, yes, here's the shortcut. For the last 90 days, I'm just going to look at my ROI because it's really nice. ReaderLinks does it for me. If you're not into the math thing and you don't want to do all those calculations, start here. 140 books, this many page reads, here's my revenue, this is how much I paid in ads, that's how much I made. That breaks it down. That's more than double. That's 379% increase. I don't know about you, but that's enough math for me, and that tells me that I'm doing something right, as you can see. This is probably the fastest way to tell if your ROI is actually there. Or you can do the math like I just showed you how to do. If you want to avoid the math and you just kind of want to, do your thing, totally understand. You can totally skip my mathing because I like to do it, but that doesn't mean it's something I do every day. I'm just showing you a way to figure it out. This is a nice, smooth way of just figuring it out if you're using ReaderLinks. Or if you're using the spreadsheet like I showed you before, you can judge if $10 ad spend and it's making $100, you can judge if your ad spend is worth it or not. And then if you really want to test it, you can do what I do and just drop the ads all together, and you can see what happens to your income. It literally does the dropping picture. So why don't you try that out? Let me know if you have any questions. Again, this is probably the fastest and easiest way. So if you have, if you just don't want to do the math, which I get it, I don't always want to do the math either. This is a nice, easy way to come in and say, here's my revenue. This is what I spent on ads. I'm actually coming out ahead, so I must be doing something right. Okay? And we're going to cover tweaking next week so you can see if there's ways for you to make your spend here a lot lower. Okay, I hope that helped, guys, and I will talk to you later.